the treasury was full and happy time some was enjoying. It's in Mova and Lavantine poor people was living. Now the treasury flat and the country come back to square one. Poor people remain on the same old ghetto in John. But look at the economy return today on some footing. If the same poor people 10 days and cola they're taking. And without social unrest, poor people paying the price. Because they know for the country nothing too much to sacrifice. And if the country faces its darkest hour, so our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, it have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just give one more try, life would be much sweeter. Anytime that we hear Trimbago is facing a crisis, as loyal citizens it's our duty to stay and active. For we know to ourselves there could never become a day we're not deaf to this country we can repeat. So who wants to focus go, I have no objection. But while outside I want you to have some consideration that your country of course facing its worst day in history, and we must do what we can regardless where we may be. Our country facing its darkest hour, and our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever we feel to surrender, it have one little thing that I want we always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just give one more try, life could be much sweeter. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just give one more try, life could be much sweeter. We could make it if we try, just a little harder now, a little harder. One more try. Sweeter, baby, sweeter.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed. If I sound tired tonight, well, it's because I am. And of course, if it is that I appear to be fatigued, it's because I am. But of course, I have a commitment and a dedication, not only, of course, to the loyal fans and those who, of course, depend on the corridor transformation for their daily dose of information before they go to bed, and, of course, wake up in the morning on the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself, and indeed from 6 o'clock. But nobody, as the saying will go, put you there. I did it on my own volition. I did it because of commitment to country. I did it because I see myself as a patriot. I see myself as committed to good governance, and as a consequence, the manifestation of equitable distribution of the resources of the country, God-given, so that all of us can not only reach our fullest potential, but we can exist in a society that, of course, is not plagued with the level of animosity, the level of hatred, in other words, the level of divisiveness, the level of the jungle mentality or rule, the violence and the perpetration of what I consider to be subterranean social activities that will generate a Trinidad and Tobago none of us would like, as we look at places like Haiti, Somalia, and other parts of the globe where the rule of law is not respected and where institutions are created or dismissed based on the ruling class and ruling, of course, by force. It is that understanding and that prospect people like myself have taken up, of course, on their own volition, with their own resources, by and large, and of course with your help at times, because you too feel obligated to ensure that Trinidad and Tobago becomes a peaceful, wealthy, and salubrious, as well as, of course, peace and the security that we all believe we can achieve and aspire for in order to, of course, live a full, complete, and quality life. That is the basis for my being here tonight. And while, of course, last night I was overwhelmed because, as the people say, work though dead is man that's dead. Work though get tired, it is always there, but man do. Well, I had, of course, an episode of my own frailty, my own humanity, my own physical limits, and therefore my profuse apology. But here am I, once again, treating, of course, with the issues of the day, and to make certain that those who are a threat to the society, not necessarily criminally, because we could identify that easily, but those who pretend and can, of course, engage in what I consider to be incognito desperation, couching, of course, their so-called utterances to mean that they have some kind of righteous obligation to disclose, when in fact they are engaged in self-serving, pernicious, and of course, as far as I'm concerned, easily recognizable criminal acts that are detrimental to Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, of course, that bunch of vipers who recently were expelled from the major and all of the public offices in this country because they would have done us harm. They were and still is a cesspool of corruption, a cesspool and a macabre group of individuals who would stop at nothing. And tonight we will demonstrate that once again. So don't ever believe that because they are in opposition that they would have relented, and that they would, of course, genuflect and, of course, reflect and do some introspection and come differently. But no, They continue with their braggadocio. They continue with their obnoxious utterances. They continue with their self-serving and egotistic and, of course, megalomaniac, and sometimes not just hubris, but, of course, a level of arrogance, a level of contempt, unprecedented and maybe not associated with human beings that would have been recently humbled by the majority of the population of Trinidad and Tobago when they went to the polls and they did their duty and, of course, found them guilty as charged, and therefore they were relegated to the dustbin of political history by, of course, being sent to the opposition, 13 of them in the 13th Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what we are facing here, people. But just in case you believe, and just in case you are saying that Lennox Smith is now touting to make certain that the present administration, irregardless of their mistakes, if there are any at all of any significance, and because, of course, I am committed and, of course, one-track minded, have on blinders, I want to tell you that I am the type who will always, of course, bring tactile, palpable, and irrefutable evidence, as I will tonight. So, to, of course, tell you that the enemy that was before the 28th of April is still here and is attempting, of course, to rekindle, attempting to reorganize. And, of course, yesterday was one part of, Sunday was one aspect of that reorganization. But we must make them understand they are brittle and that they have sinned against the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that therefore, in such circumstance, they must get into purgatory in the first place. And since they have refused to be or to go on repentance seat, then we know that is the same old and the same old we will, of course, be facing if we only give them an iota, a modicum of opportunity to, of course, be where the present Prime Minister is and where the UNC and the coalition of interests now resides. Of course, in the seats of the government. That's the point I am making. But I made a video tonight for you, of course, to assess, to analyze, and to juxtapose, and to give your own opinion, whether on this program, whether on the ground report, or in your own conscience, when you would have, of course, been in your, what I consider to be safe space, where you could meditate, when you could contemplate, when you could ideate, when you could mull, and, of course, draw your own conclusions. But let me find it in the meantime. And, of course, let me say once again a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Let me, of course, invite you with, of course, some additional music that would lay the tone for tonight's exercise. Yes, indeed, because we have to be able to find ways and means to get the information across, and do so with, of course, penetration, and with, of course, vigor, and with irrefutability. We can make it if we try.
So the treasury broke and they say that recession jamming. So no foreign countries really start migrating. They lose faith in the country, they say we gone down the drain. They say no more could we see happy times again. But the will to recover in my people like have confidence. Although many may seem to feel that I talking nonsense, but the majority of we decide we're not going to run, because now is the time to show we patriotism. For we country facing is that is sour, so our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, it have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just get one more try.
As serving as a minister, I would not have been given the privilege to visit some and so many of you in so many communities in West Tobago, as well as in...
And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated?
As serving as a minister, I would not have been given the privilege to visit some and so many of you in so many communities in West Tobago, as well as in East Tobago. And that is the reason why I felt a sense of hurt and disappointment that on election night, when I heard that Shamfa lost her seat and Ayana lost her seat. Dr. Eric Williams, many years ago, said that every single member of the PNM is a propagandist of the PNM. And one of the first things I will do as your new chairman is to ensure that the propagandists of the PNM must be deployed on every nook and every cranny of this country, and we will chase them away on social media, and that the gospel of the PNM must be known to every single citizen of this country.
Yes, indeed. I wonder if you understood what was said by both these now members of the lower house of Trinidad and Tobago, and among the 13, the cursed 13, because not only 13 itself is cursed, but you hear, of course, a member of the 13 cursing. Listen to this.
And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated?
Yes, people.
As serving as a minister, I would not have been given the privilege to visit some and so many of you in so many communities in West Tobago, as well as in East Tobago.
I realize that so many of you are appalled that you want to hear it again. I've seen it, of course, on the various blogs. So listen to it again.
And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? And a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? And a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? And a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? And a simple and reasonable question, where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated?
When people have habits, and human beings, of course, are creatures of habit, they have a propensity and or a proclivity to, of course, depending on the circumstance, to exude, to exhibit that particular habit. So here it is in, of all places, the parliament of the country, and possibly the youngest member of the parliament and a member of the PNM. It cannot be, of course, a Freudian slip. A Freudian slip, of course, will work if, of course, a different adjective was, of course, provided. Like, take, for instance, if you want to say that you are in disagreement with where the money is coming from, or you have a concern, then one would have expected that you would say that I have a difficulty, for example, as to where the monies will come from. That is an option. You also have the option of saying that I cannot understand where this additional funds will come from. And you want me to go further? I'm sure you will be able to make up your own in such a circumstance. Why the prefix of an obscenity would come across your lips in such circumstance? To me, that's an evil person with evil thoughts. Evil person with evil thoughts. Totally ignoring, totally oblivious as to the magnitude and the seriousness and the importance of where they are, and they therefore cannot make, unless, of course, not even Trump. Why, see, he did an obscenity, but he didn't do it in the Congress. That hallow and that sacred place where, of course, the major decisions are made and or confirmed for a people. He didn't do it there, you know. He did it on his way, of course, to maybe one of the president's aircraft. I understand it would have been a helicopter in this case. But the fact of the matter is, this fella in Trinidad, he says it where? Let's say it again. Let's say it again, man.
And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question, where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? Question, where is the 54.9 million going to be question, where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? Question, where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated? Question, where is the 54.9 million going to be?
And just in case you believe that he was not going to say it, let me say it for you. He was actually saying, where is the fucking, that's right, where is the fucking, and then of course he went on. Listen again. Let's not waste time.
I'm asking a simple and reasonable question, where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated?
Where is the fucking $55.9 million will be allocated? That is what he was going to say off the cuff, automatically, by second nature. How could that be material for the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago? And worse yet, coming from Laventille, does of course put in an additional strain on us who are attempting, of course, to clean and to, of course, sanitize and to, of course, show that Trinidad and Tobago can trust Laventillians. And here it is, you have the ultimate. Having been given, of course, the responsibility, you can't afford to make mistakes. Don't tell me that's a mistake. It cannot be. It must not be accepted. Listen again. Listen again. Listen again. Now we get an opportunity.
A simple and reasonable question. Where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated?
Let's continue with the madness. This fella called Gonzalez, some give him an effeminine, should I say, description. But I would want to call him Gonzalez for the time being. Some say he's marvelous, or some say he is, they give some kind of feminine ascription to him. Never put it that way. But the fact of the matter is that here it is. He is trying to give some kind of consolation, some kind of empathy, some kind of kind words to the two lost Tobago candidates of the PNM, and he would say that he was minister and he didn't have time to come and check them, but yet still he was surprised that they lost their seats. To me, that song as though you're messing up. That song as though you're rubbing salt in my wounds. Listen to him. Listen to him.
As serving as a minister, I would not have been given the privilege to visit some and so many of you in so many communities in West Tobago as well as in East Tobago. And that is the reason why I felt a sense of hurt and disappointment that on election night, when I heard that Shamfa lost her seat and Ayana lost her seat.
So he, being a minister, was unable to visit them or to look at them or to be with them. And as a result of that being consumed by ministerial responsibility, he felt hurt. This man is an ass. You felt hurt for that? Well, I'm sure that they were saying, well, what is this? The man throwing salt in the wounds. We already got defeated. Tobago has, of course, jettisoned the PNM in all aspects of electoral consideration in Tobago. It's 14-1 in Tobago as far as the assembly is concerned. And of course, the two seats, Tobago East and West, were taken. They were dislodged. They were eradicated. They were annihilated. They were destroyed. And he goes there to tell Shamfa Kojo and, of course, the other, what I consider to be ill-descript, should have never been there. But yet still, he comes there to them, trying to help them out, so he say, and then said that, listen, because I was minister, I wasn't able to come and check all you, but I'm disappointed that only lost the elections. No help at all. I'm sure that they would have left that meeting, wherever it was in Tobago, extremely irritated. Their irascibility probably couldn't be contained. They probably call him aside and tell him, what the hell you do there? What you trying to do there? How you could further embarrass us in that way? Listen to him.
Dr. Eric Williams, many years as well as in East Tobago. so many communities in West Tobago, to visit some and so serving as a minister, I would not have been given the privilege to visit some and so many of you in so many communities in West Tobago as well as in East Tobago. And that is the reason why I felt a sense of hurt and disappointment that on election night, when I heard that Shamfa lost her seat and Ayana lost her seat. Dr. Eric Williams, many years ago, said that every single member of the PNM is a propagandist of the PNM. And one of the first things I will do as your new chairman is to ensure that the propagandists of the PNM must be deployed on every nook and every cranny of this country, and we will chase them away on social media, and that the gospel of the PNM must be known to every single citizen of this country.
It appears that, of course, the cameras were a bit shy or ashamed to, of course, focus on the audience, because people, obviously, when you watch the faces, when he was talking that truckload of hogwash, saying that William said that every member must be a propagandist and therefore you must go there and lie. You must go there and lie to the people. You must go there and be dishonest to the people. You must continue, of course, what Rowley and Stuart Young and, of course, Penelope Beckles being part and parcel, and he being part of Penelope Beckles' slate, and that, of course, won with just about 5,000 votes. Remember, I said that if they get 500, they get plenty. But, of course, the prior one, the prior exercise, Rowley got, what, 9,000? And, of course, they're saying that out of a population, meaning that out of a membership of over 100,000. So here we go. Here we go with the madness that he goes there to talk about propaganda. I remember what we said about the PNM's propaganda machinery, that it has weighed, that of course it is deteriorating, that it has gone aground, and that of course it is no longer potent as it used to be. And that is largely because, of course, of people like myself who are prepared to come here every night and, of course, speak the truth and nothing but the truth, and, of course, expose their propagandist ideology and their perspective, and, of course, their bid to, of course, get back into government by hoodwinking, by deceiving, and by, of course, outright and unadulterated lies. Let's hear him again.
Every single member of the PNM is a... Dr. Eric Williams, many years ago, said that every single member of the PNM is a propagandist of the PNM. And one of the first things I will do as your new chairman is to ensure that the propaganda...
Let's go to the lines. Let's pause and go to the lines. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Are you hearing me, my friend? Welcome to the corridor. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor. Pleasant good night. All right. Call back. Sorry about that. People, of course, the line is open, and of course, earlier today I was getting a little challenge, so I don't know if it's the same now. So that those of you who may be trying to call, please, it may be a challenge, so I'll pick up the phone, or I may well, of course, if you are on the system itself, I will, of course, engage. But let's continue, of course, with Marvelous Marva. They say, no boy, you see, or the template to say, Marvelous Marva and the hogwash that he's talking about, everybody must be a propagandist. He goes to Tobago and say that, you know, after they dismiss PNM from Tobago, after they have been blackwashed, whitewashed, and I mean totally decimated in Tobago, he goes there and talking that kind of what I consider to be mental maladic utterance that has no relevance to reality.
must be deployed on every nook and every cranny of this. And one of the first things I will do as your new chairman is to ensure that the propagandists of the PNM must be deployed on every nook and every cranny of this country. And Dr. Eric Williams, many years ago, said that every single member of the PNM is a propagandist of the PNM. And one of the first things I will do as your new chairman is to ensure that the propagandists of the PNM must be deployed on every nook and every cranny of this country, and we will chase them away on social media, and that the gospel of the PNM must be known to every single citizen of this country.
Well, let's hear what the
criminal wrongdoing
Attorney General has to say.
I don't mind you looking at.
President, good night. Welcome to the corridor. I hope you're hearing. No? All right. Okay, let's go here. President, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night, Lennox. Good night to you and to everybody out there.
Yes, man.
Lennox.
Hey.
Something is wrong with that man, you know. I think it's the eyeliner. I know Forrest did here that I was affected.
Well, it could be they're in competition with each other.
Beg pardon?
They're probably in competition with each other.
I feel so for stupidity.
And with Donna Cox. And with Donna Cox's.
Donna Cox is with the eyelashes.
Yeah.
And too much of weave blue.
That may reach there yet. All right. Go ahead. Yes.
Lennox.
Yes.
Hear the man. When you hear this man talking, you really have to wonder where the PNM dig up these people from.
I'm telling you.
The man not feeling shame that Donna Cox took away the food grant from the disabled people. No, he not feeling hurt, but he feeling hurt that Shamfat lose his thing. He feeling hurt about that. And the man ain't have no shame to come and talk about propaganda in the PNM, and they go to preach the gospel of the PNM. Well, hear what? We will know what to do with the gospel of the PNM.
That's right.
You see how we did it on the 28th? We will know how to do it again.
Confession, you know, after during the campaign and before that, they said no, they're not engaged in propaganda. They don't have a propaganda machinery, and here it is. He said that everybody must be a propagandist. Wow.
Yes, but Lennox, what is shameful is that PNMites are saying that propaganda in this sense is a good word.
Yes. Yeah.
It's only one meaning for propaganda.
Lies, more lies, and more lies. That's all. That is what it is. Yeah. Lies, more lies, and more lies.
I cannot understand how, I tell you, they are really the crayfish boss, you know. They really need more altar classes, you know. Because in nowhere propaganda means good in this sense. I guess this is the book of Call it the Balize. That propaganda means good in this sense.
Well, the fact that the PNM is awful, it's evil, it's wicked, it's diabolical, I think it is clear. But let me just try to see. Are you hearing me, caller?
All right, Doctor, good night.
Are you hearing me?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Hold on, Miss Santa Cruz. Caller, you hearing me? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, sorry about that. I thought you won't hear me. But go ahead, Miss Santa Cruz. Go ahead.
Yeah. Lennox, nowhere. You could check it Thesaurus, you could check it Google. Google is the easiest thing to check.
Yes.
Hello?
Propaganda is not a good
Hello?
word.
Just a minute again, Miss Santa Cruz. Just so. Hello, are you hearing me? You hear me? All right, okay, hold on. Miss Santa Cruz has not yet finished her contribution. Hold on. All right, go ahead, Miss Santa Cruz.
Yes, I'm going to say Santa Cruz is not a good word. Yeah, propaganda could never be a good word coming out of that man's mouth. Now, next thing, Lennox, you know what I would like for you to do?
Go ahead.
You see that statement that Roger Alexander made in Parliament advising young people what to do? Hold your comrade hand, don't laugh at them. I wish you could put up that somewhere.
Yes, I am preparing that. I just didn't get the time tonight, but certainly I will, yes.
Let them see it, Lennox.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me this man shame, eh? Just wouldn't have no shame, right? The man put you in your place in Parliament, right? You come back again, he put in a full stop after every word. But you should have Googled. You should have no moral authority. You should have Googled. Go to Google and ask them what causes water not to flow up a hill. Because the man said that he did not know that leaks cause water not to flow up.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he didn't know that the leaks take away the pressure, and therefore it's difficult for water to find itself in a pipe with all the leak up a hill. Yes,
all the water leaking out.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
It's not get to its destination.
That's right.
You didn't know that. A big man like you didn't know that. And you want to play man for people.
Well, I think what is the greatest indictment as to his tomfoolery and his foolishness and the ignorant and empty-headed person that he is when Rowley said he took him as minister because he knows nothing about water and wasa.
Yeah.
so the fact that he got the job was not based on any kind of qualification that one would recognize and of course give him any accolades for. It's because of his dunderheadedness and his stupidity. Yet still, I suppose it's a case of birds of feather, because here it is, he could identify a statement to be, of course, as someone to be stupid like him. But of course, Alexander proved to him that he's not as what he is. That's for sure.
But Lennox, Rowley took him because he didn't know anything about water.
Yes.
Right? Rowley took him. But Alexander knew about a crime.
That's right.
So you have no reason to laugh at Alexander.
Yes.
None whatsoever. And the faux pas that he made was worse than Alexander tripping over a couple of words from the prepared speech. Right? But you see, Lennox, let them continue their 5 years of that, And Lennox, look at this next one with the first tape that you were showing. Right?
Yes.
And I'm still trying to believe, Lennox. I don't want to believe that he actually let out that word.
Yes, he did. He started it.
Yeah.
He started it. And I mean, anybody with a modicum will know what the completion is.
Yeah. Everything.
Yes.
Right? But what I find strange is that how he's paying nothing about it from the speaker. And the next dunderhead is Dominic Romain. Like he intends to contribute for the next 5 years what took place under the partnership government. But you see, Lennox, before I go, I want to remind them.
Yes.
They talk about live sport, but what we heard disclosed in Parliament this week concerning what was going on in that sports ministry is worse than live sport.
Oh yes.
Can you imagine? Faris was vexed that these young men were getting a box lunch for $40, and Faris collected millions in rent. And look at over thousands these people collected doing nothing.
Yeah, they believe that the treasury of Trinidad and Tobago belonged to that small clique. They call themselves cabal at times. They call themselves clique. They call themselves 1% aspirants. They call themselves some unique group of persons who dedicate themselves to, of course, depleting the treasury of Trinidad and Tobago, and we have to see them and call them up for what they are. Of course,
exactly, Lennox.
Just watch at the end of this video and you will see where they are going, because the Attorney General is on their cases.
That's right.
Yes.
And you see, Lennox, where they charge you 5 girls for beating the other girl in the outside Holy Faith convent.
Yes.
Good. And then people want to come and say, oh, the partnership is doing nothing. I hear one say this one in 6 months that they ain't doing nothing yet. 85 days, Lennox. 85. But again, before I leave, I have to say this.
Go ahead.
The news stick that up Faris Wahoo is what Wade Mark do him in the Senate. It's good for him. Nobody wants to hear him. You had 10 years to fix that children's rights fund. You never did it. But you upset now because they don't want to listen to what you have to say. Look, man, Holland go to hell. Lennox.
And for those trolls that you refer to, I want to tell them as well, there could be no greater troll than Mr. Port of Spain, and he has given up. But all you continue living a life of illusion.
Let him continue.
Yeah.
All right, Lennox, have a good night.
Yes, same to you, same to you. Yes, indeed. They want to enter where angels fear, so let them go ahead. A pleasant good night, Mr. Mongdo, I believe it is. Pleasant good night, sorry about that. But you know that is our external correspondence. Yes, good night to you. Good night.
Yeah, good night, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes,
good night, worldwide. Doctor, I want you to make sure and get your rest.
Yes, thank you.
Because we can't afford to lose you.
Yeah.
Make sure and get your rest and thing, right?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Gonzalez or whatever the madman name who talking that sort of rubbish. Doctor, them not going in jail, you know. Here why they're not going in jail? Because St. Anne's go pick them up first.
I hear you. So they give
because
so they self-jailing then. They give it themselves a jail.
Because them is mad people.
Yeah.
Them is mad people. St. Anne's go pick them up. We don't want to hear about propaganda. We as real people, we don't like them really feel people stupid and Trinidad and Tobago.
I sure at this time when you should be in a repentance mood, when you should be humble
we want to hear the truth. That is what we want to hear.
That's right.
You understand? I mean to say, I know we're not perfect. We're not right. We're not perfect, but we have to try.
Yes.
Right? And you have to strive to be the best, right? That you could be, you know. So when he talk about propaganda, he feels that you have to deal with what?
That's what happened. These fellas and them. They have grown accustomed being so mediocre.
Anyhow, doctor.
Yes.
You stay strong, brother. Rest yourself.
Yes.
And you see that bunch of that I don't know what to call them. PNM.
I would call them
evil. Is that evil?
Yeah,
that PNM is that evil business going on.
I hear you. All right, thanks very much.
Thank
you. Yes, indeed. All right, let's go straight to the line. President, good night, Mr. Faizabad. I had to take you on the cell phone, boy. Go ahead. Faizabad, you there? Oh, just wait. Let me take off something here. Oh gosh, boy, two persons on the same line. All right, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Faizabad.
Good evening, Uncle Lennox. You hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. I had to put you on the handset. Go ahead.
The line clear? I
can
talk?
Yes. Go ahead. You can talk. Yes.
Okay. A pleasant good evening to all on Sunray, East, North, and South, and especially from the South. And we want you to share the live. Share it. We need the 40,000. So go tell the PNM stooges and them that who still love the PNM, the 5,000 of them, that Uncle Lennox is bad talking them tonight. And if you can drop that message, you can drop to 1 bob and 60 cents. We will take all that.
I hear you.
So we'll take our $6 from them because let them work on our maths. So Uncle Lennox, now you see, I will take a little time, but I want to take my time, not like a songing like a wajang. Marvin Gonzal.
Yeah.
Foster Cummins, Colin India, and Faris Harari. You know what I have in common?
Well,
show me a liar, and I'll show you a thief.
You wouldn't believe it. You ain't wait for me to respond, but that is exactly what I was going to say. All of them are thieves.
So no, I didn't say nothing. All I said
I said.
Just show me a liar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said. They are thieves.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will show you a thief. That is the quote of the late Patrick Manning. So now, just imagine, you get an office, and I'm moving from the ministry where you had $2.7 billion shortfall, and I can't account for it. and you go in a ministry and you say, what did this win, Uncle Lennox? It wasn't a week before the election, the dissolved parliament.
Yeah.
When they arranged the cabinet. So it's the day of swearing, and the day to the date parliament was dissolved, you're no longer a minister. So what the kind of jackanine, asinine, docile comment in their making? You take money and you refurbish your office. The office happened to be in a Wari property, which he have interest in, because if he not with the wife, somebody else with the wife. So without being Paris divorced the wife. But anyway, as long as Paris and the wife are together, they have interest. Because you say that it's not Paris children, it's the wife children. We know that. Because Paris didn't make children with the wife made the children.
Well, remember, he is the man who denied his children. So according to Rowley, when of course the issue of the weapon, high-power weapon that they were pictured holding, he said that up to today he has not confirmed that it's his children. So one has to conclude, since Rowley said it's his children, that he has denied his children. But go ahead. I just want to make sure that we have that clear.
Yeah, and the listeners understand what we're saying.
Yes.
So, his wife had the children, not he. So, just imagine, in all of what I hear, in there, expose Marva Gonzal to show how stink for the last 10 years as a minister he was. You tell me you have like a hog.
We seem to get cut off, boy.
Yes.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, you know.
Yeah, so that's stinky because for 10 years, you in our office, and you have it stink, so the toilet, like a public toilet, your office floor like is a carnival, we truck, you no man of the Lennox.
Are you referring to the response by Imsbert as to why the expenditure, him of course being a recent minister in that ministry under new old administration? I'm talking about when Stuart Young became, of course, the shortest stinted prime minister ever.
Yes, Uncle Lennox.
All right, okay, go ahead.
When he went to one Alexander Street, I think in the public utility office,
right,
the ministry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you telling me in there exposed Marva Gonzal, that whole stink as a minister, and you talking about maintenance and upkeeping of our office. Like I tell you for the last 10 years, all the way there was, even in the Prime Minister residence, the Prime Minister office, and other places, you seen the dilapidated state, they leave them office for the last 10 years. So you mean them had a little bit of ambition, and it's exposing them in the open, and yet still defending the indefensible?
Well, it is clear to me it is clear that they were so obsessed with diminishing the treasury of the country in their own pocket, because I can tell you something, their personal homes will not be like that. I can tell you that. Because, we had talk about a red couch and all of that. And, of course, at one time, there was, of course, U.S. and other monies that was taken from Imsbert. There's a raid and, of course, a very expensive, probably, telephone with respect to his son. And it was, of course, retrieved. So the point I am making is that I have not heard that there was anything dilapidated or anything, of course, that is unhospitable or inhospitable for accommodation with the personal homes of these people. But certainly, when it comes to public homes, they seem to don't care, but focus, of course, on the resources to make themselves, to line their own pockets with the country's resources so they could live comfortable outside of the public assets. Let me put it that way. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just imagine the Joint Finance Select Committee will say on that in there how much money he allocated for these things, you know.
Yes,
it was in the budget
30,000 for painting and 31,000 to install it. I mean, that's a travesty.
Right? So, you see, Uncle Lennox, the few PNM people who voted back for that executive, they have to be some of the people who benefiting, because just imagine to justify when they say 25 million to a campaign manager. Just imagine a man screen in the PNM, get the nod to represent the area, and then the executive send back and say, we cancel that because he's not willing to give you contracts and work to recognize we when he get in in government as a member.
And not surprising. Remember, we have always said it is a conman entity, it is a criminal enterprise, and the presence of, as we speak, of Balize in its incomplete state is there for all to see, and for, I hope, it will be a lasting memorial as to symbolize what you ought not to do when you are in government. That is to say, not to pilfer, but to raid, but to, of course, get on as if the treasury is yours, and you then recklessly and brutally and savagely you diminish it, and then, of course, coming out after the people would have decided and say that you didn't do it. No, the Attorney General will have the last say. When we finish with this clip tonight, you will understand why. Go ahead.
Yes, so as I close up, I say that I will like that speedy action in a due manner and right thinking way investigation, because it have the evidence to leave behind. And Reginald Amo was guilty of certain things in the office.
Yes, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. President Knight, welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Mr. Lennox.
All right, good. You hearing me, right? You hearing me?
Yeah, I know you're in here.
Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yes, I saw you.
Yes, good night, Mr. Lennox, and good night to everybody who's on the live.
Yes.
And good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Lennox, listen to this now. Hillier, right?
Yes.
Hillier. Well, I see Auntie can't get you out of here.
Yeah, it looks
so
as though
Trinidad and Tobago will now know the true state of all who get in for it.
Yeah, it looks as though now, it looks as though for Hillier, it looks as though it's hell here.
That's right.
Yeah, it's hell here for you. You can see he face just constrict, constrict, his muscles just tighten, and of course he seemed to be in a daze because he don't know what next, having regard, of course, to his sudden, of course, should I say, expunging from the office of Governor of the Central Bank. Go ahead.
Well, listen now. But I like what the Attorney General tell them.
Yes.
He said that many of them will be in a different institution. So the Bamsi clapping.
Oh yes. Hold on, San Fernando. Just have Mr. Lamontil on the line right now. Go ahead, unless you're finished.
Yeah. So what I look at, what I find is so hilarious. Imagine in boot, you telling me you have cassava painters for 30,000, I think, but you pay 35,000 to install it.
Don't be surprised if it's a deal between he and Rowley, because Rowley loved painting. His wife said that. His wife said that he had painted all over the house. He's not a good painter, but he had painted all over the house. And then, of course, the first thing he did after telling us the belt tighten when he came in 2015 is to ask for an allotment to purchase Casabon painting. We remember that? And then asking us for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Asking us for forgiveness. I mean, this man is the epitome of what I consider to be a criminal in high office,
Mr. Lennox, you see that former regime, and you see many of them permanent secretaries and them. Boy, them had to get locked up, boy. Them have to get locked up. You sign up for all these things.
Listen to the end of the current John Jeremy's statement tonight on the corridor, and you will understand when he started to point and say that I will go to war with you. So we understand very clearly, even though, of course, they thought that they would have, of course, escaped the justification. The justification
well, one more thing before I go.
That should visit them because of the evil that they did in the offices that they would have held by depleting the treasury in the way that they did.
One more thing before I go, Mr. Lennox.
Go ahead.
You know, apart from I saw a little bit of that thought, yes. Apart from Pararat, what Pararat said, right? Oh gosh, there was something I was going to say concerning the same Jeremy issue, you know. But anyway, okay, I will call back because I didn't mention that too.
Call back. We have until 10.
Okay, God bless.
I'm reducing the program as yet because of energy levels and all of the human consumption. All right. Go ahead, Mr. San Fernando.
Yeah, good night.
Good night. Yes.
I want to say good night to the audience of Trinidad and Tobago and the worldwide audience.
Yes.
You know, I had to laugh plenty. I laughed in plenty because on that clip you just played, right?
Yeah.
At the beginning of the clip,
I don't understand how you could get a slip like that, a cuss word in the parliament.
No, not that one. The one with Gonzalez.
With Gonzalez, Gonzalez, yeah. When he telling them people, of course, I was a minister and I was too busy, of course, to visit you and so on. But
he talk about Eric Williams.
Eric Williams, the propaganda part of it. Yeah. Everybody must be a propaganda, and everybody must be a propaganda. And he is going to make sure that every person in the PNM, if they have anybody remain at all, he assuming that people will remain there, but they only get 5,000 persons to come out and vote. Rowley lucky he still get nine before, but we were saying that if they get 500, they get plenty. So we know where they are going.
But why I'm laughing is in the beginning of the clip we talk about Eric Williams, and now I have the greatest respect for Eric Williams,
right?
Because he wrote some good books, right?
Right.
But now we see it where this guy come and he exposed the doc as a propagandist.
Yeah, that's right. And all what we were getting all these years were delusions, illusions, and figment of their own imagination that they would want to sell to the population, believing that is what the population wants to hear, because that is what our propaganda machinery is all about. And we have seen that it has self-confessed now, and that it has been destroyed because, of course, the outcome of the April 28 elections demonstrates that in a very, what I can say, be poignant and a very vivid way.
No. What I'm saying is, if he exposing the doc now as a propagandist,
right?
They have the goal now to turn around now and be fixing on Roger Alexander. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because I want to say this.
Go ahead.
A giant woman once taught me a valuable lesson in life. Right? You see, they're saying that the PNM
wash the dirty linen in public. We know that's a fake. That in itself was propaganda. That's all.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
No, I also laughing because a Chinese woman taught me a very valuable lesson in life.
Go ahead.
She asked me a question and she asked me, say, when you get up every morning, do you make up your bed? Do you sweep out your house? Do you know? Now, this is a very important lesson for people to learn. When you are able to do menial tasks and do it very well, because it's training we're talking about here.
Right.
And you do menial tasks, right?
Right.
If given a bigger task to do, you would do it well if you're doing the menial ones good.
Yes, because it's incremental. People don't have a straight, linear, of course, learning curve. But if something is linear, means there's a line, but it curves. Yes, where learning is concerned.
I'm wondering if these PNM people were really ever doing menial tasks and being prepared to take up the mantle of government.
No, but Mr. San Fernando, I mean, Rowley said that he was leaving office because he don't believe in, of course, your foot out when you have office like that. But he said he was engaged in what is called succession planning. Is the greatest amount of chaos? Is the greatest amount of implosion? Is the greatest amount of bacchanal? I mean, come on. So that in itself was a propaganda too. Yeah.
This is why I laugh.
Yeah, so chaotic was that so-called succession planning. Nobody knew who would be leader. Everybody started to talk out of turn, out of mind. I mean, and is every boat for itself kind of thing. And it continues, it continues. Everybody calling press conferences every day. Imbud just had one. Cummins, he don't know if he's going or he's coming. He had one too. and of course, don't talk for Al-Raris and his, of course, what I consider to be total and absolute mental deranged statements that he will from time to time make.
No, why I'm going down this road is and I explain to you that this Chinese woman taught me a very valuable lesson in life. Is because she told me that she was involved with a church, and the church had a function, right? Whereby, at this function, let me say it's like a dinner, but they wanted people to fold like napkins and stuff, when you're folding it, and it required you folding it.
Yes, a menial task, but it's effective here to look the part.
This was a menial task. But she noticed that one woman folding the napkins and so forth, right? That she was folding it badly.
Right.
Yet at the same time, the woman was a masseuse and asking her if she wanted a masseuse. So my point is here: if you can't fold napkins, can I trust you to do bigger tasks?
Well, exactly, because if you can't fold napkins, I wouldn't trust you to hand out a fork. You might hand it out with the prickle part extended.
So my point is here, right? These people who were in government, right? They were not able to really, because Camille Robertson really admitted that she didn't pass math.
No, it was always a sham. I mean, we on the ground report, we said that the PNM was a sham. We knew that they were a collective, or should I say, have metamorphosized or have mutated into a criminal enterprise, or well-oiled criminal enterprise. And we had very valid and, should I say, irrefutable evidence of that. You cannot come to us in 2015, tell us that the PNM was owing $5 million, $5 million, and that is what Rowley said he met. And that is how, that is what they had now. Remember, Aquila was there long before, and to probably a lesser extent, Manning was there, and they couldn't get $100 million to build Balize House. In 9 years, he get $100 million, and he don't want us. He don't want us to say. And worse yet, he tells us that he sell raffle tickets. So I have often asked the question whether or not for that period that they were selling raffle tickets, that the National Lottery Board closed down operations so they could get all the millions that the National Lottery Board was raking in to sell those. To, of course, exercise that raffle ticket scenario. And certainly, I'm being generous here, but I'm being facetious, yes, and I'm being ridiculous. But that is how it came across. It is totally ridiculous. How the hell you could build a 5-story building for over $100 million, and you ain't talking yet about electricity, I mean, when I say electrical installation, you ain't talking yet about air conditioning. You just that's just the raw building. And it's over 100 million put ugly. Where you get it from? Where you get it from? Raffle?
But my point is also too.
Go ahead.
Right? I was listening to the press conference with the results of the election, the PNM election. Right? No, my point is also, why I'm giving you the story with the Chinese woman who taught me a valuable lesson.
Okay.
I'm listening to that conference tonight too. And Coleman was saying tonight, right, that they're preparing to come back in 2030.
All of them are saying that, don't you see?
No, listen to this.
Yeah.
You can't answer for the $2 or $3 billion that go on missing, but you're preparing for 2030.
Yeah.
Madness.
Let me tell you something. These fellas so mad, and women are so mad, that they believe that those in the rank and file that don't matter what will absolve them from all of the iniquities, and even though they perpetrated pain on their own people, they believe that these people are so stupid that they will come back and vote for them. You know, that's what them believe. You know.
But how can people trust them again?
Exactly. Even their own. Well, of course, the elections, the internal elections, would have reflected that as well. Only 5,000 persons came out. Yeah. So they say. We sure it could be less.
That's my contribution.
All right. Thanks very much for that contribution. All right. Let me get back to that video. I know that people want to hear will want to see and hear the ending of this particular video. Very, 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 very interesting indeed. But let me start from the top, just in case you just joined us, so that you will get an appreciation as to what we have put together tonight, so you'll understand the level of what I consider to be shambolism and the level of self-serving idiots that are now part of that 13th Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. You would not believe. Oh God. All right, we have a call, so we have to go to the line. President, good night. President, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night. Good night, Lennox.
Good night, my friend. Good night, my friend.
Freeport here, boy. Freeport here.
Go ahead. Make a contribution.
Yeah, I hearing something. I wonder if it's true. The PNM vote against the TRIP bill that they try to pass in Parliament?
Well, yes and no. There were some amendments, 3 amendments that they put to the vote, right? But the independent bench and the opposition bench together, I think they had 15, and the government had 15. So as a consequence of that, one that attracted my attention is the one that says that the minister is supposed to have final say if, of course, the board that is responsible for the approving of children that would access the life fund, that the minister could still have a veto or a yes or no position after all of that is said and done. And they were saying that ought not to happen. The minister ought not to be in that position. But I also know that there was, of course, what is called judicial review as well, so that there was another level or another layer where the minister's action could also be questioned in the court. But they didn't care about that. They said that no, they didn't want it, and therefore the independents and the opposition came together, 15 of them, and of course the government had 15. So what transpired there was, of course, a situation where there was a need for the president of the Senate, the presiding officer, to have a casting vote. Well, of course, just as before, because during the PNM period, there was, of course, a similar situation like that in the lower house when Anizette George was there, and she, of course, gave a casting vote in favor of the status quo, they call it, but really is in favor of the government. on 3 occasions. Well, Wayne Mark had that responsibility yesterday, I believe it was, and he did exactly that. So the government got its way. All right?
Yes, but
okay.
What? Well, what I understand that the PNM didn't care about looking after the children and them, looking after. Well, I talk about the child fund or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the laptops and the workers, the government workers then.
Yeah. But
that's what I understand.
I have one issue that I did not take a look at, and that is the final vote. Because remember, they were trying to get some amendments to the law, or should I say to that particular resolution coming from the lower house. But I suspect that all of them would have voted yes at the end of the day, the final vote. That I don't know of, but I know that those amendments created, of course, the stalemate.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Right, so I'm not going to cast any aspersion as yet.
Well, I don't know, boy. I don't know why these PNM people operating how they operating. They don't care. They were for the 9 years. They didn't care about nobody, and up to now, the government trying to do some good things, and they still don't care.
Yeah. But of course, in that process, the independents are now questionable, because I mean, we had predicted that a PNM president, Kangaloo, would of course put into the parliament, into the upper house, into the Senate, individuals that are akin to or have a sympathy for the PNM, and one could conclude from that exercise only 2 days ago or yesterday that is in fact so. The president pushed himself in that. So there are all kinds of course aspersions that are going to emanate from that exercise, even though it may be legitimate, because as I said, I don't know if on the final vote everybody agreed, which they ought to, because of, I mean, they were defeated in terms of the amendments. But I don't know if on the final voting to pass that particular bill, if it was in fact unanimous. All right?
Yeah, but this bill they wanted to pass, it shouldn't be so difficult to pass. It's not to say, well, it's something
little issues, yeah. All right.
It's something that that against.
Yeah, on the face of
whatever.
It is a laudable gesture. It shouldn't have any controversy. There should be no to-in and fro-in, but at the end of the day, of course, there was. But as I say, along the lines that I explained. All right? Okay. Anything else?
All right. I don't know. I hardly hear you because I gain a real feedback. I don't know what.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I hear that kind of rattling when you're on. Let me see if I get the same thing here. All right. A pleasant good night, Mr. Tagarigua. Good night.
Hey, Lennox, good night.
Hey. Go ahead.
You hear me good?
Yeah. Let me ask you something. You saw the final vote on that children's authority, not the children's authority, the children's
life fund.
Life fund. That's right. Yeah, life fund.
No, I didn't see the final.
Oh, you didn't see the final. All right. Okay. I'll have to take a look at it. But go ahead.
I get fed up, as you mentioned that. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
It started off good. The chairman on the government side. Every time they come with this stupidness.
Right.
It's okay. We'll take note.
Uh-huh.
Why didn't he continue along those lines?
Right.
Were you putting up arguments that are done like Alvary for? Here Alvary suggested you can't check on that.
Yeah.
But the vote, it passed, It passed. The thing passed. The children life one thing passed. The bill passed.
Yeah, I don't know if if it was put to a final vote, because the controversy that we got today is that is that those amendments that one or two persons tried to get in failed because the presiding officer had to use his casting vote.
Yeah,
and he cast, and he voted for the status quo, for the government, Go ahead.
When Ravi come in and telling the chairman of the committee, take out the word children and put beneficiaries, he trying to make the chairman a dumbass or what?
What you say? What you say? What you say?
Take out the word children.
Take out the word children,
And put in beneficiaries.
And put beneficiary, I see.
Yes,
Okay.
no, I hope they do that.
Okay.
Because if they do that, it will no longer be the children like fun.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, children is specific up to a particular age. Beyond that, you're no longer a child. But if you say a beneficiary, you can be a beneficiary at 70.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, very good observation. All right.
So I don't know why the chairman continue to argue with it. You know, you're showing out a life ramp for these idiots.
Yeah.
And they're refusing it, they rather go down and sink,
Okay.
Because they're sinking like
Yeah, the PNM has lost its way. I mean, and Penny said it in no uncertain terms, and it is clear, because I mean, some of the things that they are saying, I mean, is mind-boggling, and totally shows that they were never, of course, ready for government.
And they continue to lie.
Yeah. Well, don't talk for the lies, and that's why they bluffed away for 9 years. And now they are exposed. They continue, of course, to show how brittle they have been.
Let me ask you this,
Go ahead.
In but with this thing where you rent a place from Al-Rawi.
Yeah.
In Scottsbush Street, like in Sinclair.
Yeah.
Don't Street by a roadside, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted an office, he wanted a coffee kitchen, a tea kitchen, and all this kind of thing.
Right.
And paintings and all this setup.
Yeah. 30,000 for the painting and 31,000 to install it.
Install the painting.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's not madness.
Of course it's madness.
For a 30 by 30 office? I'm trying to say...
Well, we have seen where the money went, and this slush fund that they try to develop, whether it be through UDCOT. Remember, we have always been saying, well, why are you building libraries? Why are you constructing community centers in communities that are well-to-do communities? Community centers don't function in these places. They function, of course, in poor communities where you can't afford Hilton or you can't afford some. But there's one other construction during the course of the campaign in Trin City, In Trin City, nobody going in that day because they could afford to go in some hotel and have some kind of function. Whereas, of course, in a poor quarter, one would expect that a wedding might hold some party, as the case may be, and so on. But that would not be used. And then you have a big library down in Diego Martin, saying that is because it is a borough. But nobody goes to the library again because of the internet and communication, and your computer is a library in itself. So you have it right on a desktop, right on a table inside your kitchen, your bedroom, etc. And you could source the whole world and any book in the world. Yeah, so these fellas really, I mean, are disappointing, and they are so damn myopic that they are unsuited for the modern world. Yeah.
All of them play Wimbledon,
Yeah. And that is because here how I look at it. It has some money in the treasury. Them fellas want to get rich quick. So therefore what they do, they fine
ways and means.
Whether it's necessary or not, they find ways to extract the money from the treasury. UDCOT was a major, what I consider to be culprit in that regard, because Rowley, once I saw Rowley put UDCOT under the office of the Prime Minister, and then you have, of course, Noel Garcia. Remember I said Noel Garcia is a blasted thief, and if he is at the head of that, that's the bag man. So what they do, they find these projects all over the place, community centers, libraries, what again, I would not categorize establishments, or should I say construction of health centers and so on in that category, but certainly there has been an over preponderance or focus on community centers and libraries, and what has happened is that they use that as slush fund in order, of course, to line their pockets and to, of course, conduct their campaign. So much so that when the UNC, remember we had a situation when the UNC said that they book out some of the traditional media to of course promote their advertisement. PNM come after, probably give the people and them more money, and they tell the UNC, well, listen, we can't carry your ads on them. I mean, all that went through, all that came to the fore.
But listen to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which one? Noel, yeah, nah. He will go just now. As soon as he knows that the police looking for them, he go in Africa. And when he believes, yeah, that's right. That's what he do. And when if he believes the PNM coming and win, he coming back, like what he did, and say, listen, I have no questions to answer with respect to the Salturious Commission of Inquiries, remember? In fact, he started boast that he go sue somebody because the PNM did to protect him, like Malcolm Jones. Them fellas that them is real criminals. Yeah, go ahead.
I see you are thing which please close to my heart.
Go ahead.
They went down in the TSCC with the dogs and all listening to me.
Right.
Right, and they were trying to supply them with feed and things because the people they had the money.
Right.
So my food feed for the dogs, right?
Yeah, the shelter. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I have a suggestion for them now.
Go ahead.
Animals are meant to be caged up.
Caged up, right? Yes, all right.
And I would suggest something to them that I did for somebody once.
Okay.
Give them a big piece of land somewhere. A couple, 2-3 acres or maybe 4 acres of land, right?
Right.
And leave it open.
They can run in the wild, and so as if in the wild, properly fenced, of course. Yeah.
And you just cover the top of the fence.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't come outside.
Right. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. Because that cage up thing is a tragedy. Yeah.
I did that for a woman once,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. That I had to do.
No, that had to do, man. You fence up properly fenced. Because you have fencing where they can't go through at all, yeah? And that's it, yeah.
You fence on top of the wire too so they can't climb up.
Yeah.
And
all right.
Put the headquarters here for the vets and them.
All right.
And people will contribute to that.
Yeah, people will.
All the money they want. That is my suggestion to
Yeah.
your partner went down there with him. Maybe Rajiram and them.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, he's a sensitive fella to them thing. All right. It's 44 minutes. Is nearly quarter to 10 now. So let me see if I can finish that video.
Oh, you want to show something?
Yeah. I want to show something. All right. Yes. Okay. Oh boy. All right. We have another call coming in. All right. Pastor, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night again, Uncle Lennox.
Yes,
but
man.
Sorry. No, I had to keep you because here what's going on.
Go ahead.
You suffered me last night. So you had to come back tomorrow, please go on and show that video again.
All right,
because here what's going on. 3 days in a row, and you had to finish by 9 o'clock, so you started promptly at 7 now. But here what's going on. When Keith Rowley wanted the $15 million in Unicode, when he spent out the entertainment allowance from Unicode perks, and then the Prime Minister's office wanted the $15 million.
Yes.
I would like you to tell my Honorable Prime Minister to look into that expenditure to see how much money entertainment was spent. So we'll know how much Noel Garcia did release for entertainment and how much Rowley did get for entertainment.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the misappropriation of funds and moving funds, the $200 million for road repairs in local government, and then he move it And then he said 100 million for vulnerable hotspot. Where that money gone?
Yeah, where that money gone? Never
and then he
sent
formed.
in these communities.
And then he formed a paving company. And within a month, when they went before the finance committee, they dissolved it. Have a pleasant good night, and may God bless you, Uncle Lennox.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contributions and your comments. Yes, indeed. And I'm not talking Vike or ad hominem people. The fact is that Noel Garcia is a blasted scam. And I have personal experience to, of course, certify that. That is why I've been saying that from time immemorial. And there's nothing, he wouldn't even respond, he wouldn't even call my name. Because he knows that truth does offend one, and the truth is a defense in a court of law. So therefore they will absorb that. But of course, let me give you one example before we go to the video. In 2007, some young men came to me saying that they have a company, they got a company together, but they're looking for, of course, a contract, and they don't care where they get it once they get a contract, and preferably with the government. Well, I knew that Garcia and they were up in arms against myself and another, no relation, but Miss Hazel Smith, who lives on Duncan Street, because we were strident that they ought not to break down these buildings that are around here, George Street, Nelson Street, etc. We were adamant, and we went up against them. We brought in, of course, former Attorney General Ramesh Lawrence Miraj to show them that must not happen and cannot happen, because they use an act called the Slum Act. And we show them that this place is not a slum. It has good infrastructure just as any other built-up place in the country. And as a consequence of that, they reneged and they withdrew. But temporarily, of course, because if Rowley had gotten his way in the last 9 years, I tell you, and he had the money, I'm sure the people around here would have gone, because you have Duncan Street demolition to, of course, certify that the intent was to gentrify this place, to get the French to come in, and the original occupiers over many years and generations to get the hell out. That is what was happening. In fact, Rowley said in Northern to Queen Street was a latrine, and therefore we knew what his intention was as Prime Minister. But the point I am making, that when these young men came to me, I told them, listen, all you want to get a contract for true? I said, well, do exactly this for me. 11 of them, I told them to go to Garcia. Garcia was the manager of HDC at the time. We plot that in Laventille, in Paris Boulevard, in an office that I had up there. And I told them, we agreed to say that they bribed me, Lennox Smith, and we agreed which one will say how much they give me. One say 500, the next one said it, and of course, and we plotted in that way. And I told them to go to Noel Garcia, use the Laventille image, and knock on the door, break it down if all they have to, because all they want all their money. Lennox Smith tell all you that, listen, he will guarantee all you get a contract. So they did exactly that. They went a day, and they knocked on the door, and they were, of course, raucous, so they were making noise and so on, and of course, he agreed to see them. They told him exactly what I asked them to do, and of course, he told them, come back. When they went back on the next occasion, about 2 weeks afterwards, or no, about a week after that, he presented them with a contract for nearly $1 million. Let me repeat. A week after that exercise, in police terms, it is called, of course, a sting operation. But in this term, it was about life and death for them, because they couldn't, for the life of it, having, of course, been ambitious enough to organize a company, but no work. Don't matter how they try with the AGC, don't matter how they try with the corporations, etc. So I knew that Garcia and them gunning for me. So when I tell them that, Garcia, clearly, and that's how I was thinking, Garcia will see that as an opportunity to deal with me, Lennox Smith. So I told them to go. And in the next week, he presented them with contract documents for $900,000, so nearly $1 million. And then what he told them afterwards confirmed what was a suspicion and a logical, of course, conclusion as to how vindictive these fellas are and how they will use their office to achieve their wicked and nefarious agenda, because we were against them and we brought in, as I said, Ramesh Maharaj and so on, and he couldn't take that, so he saw it as an opportunity to deal with me. So here we tell them, he say, well, all you know what to do, right? And they said yes, they take the thing, and obviously what he meant was that either they kill me or take me to the police. That's the only way. But of course, that's the only conclusion one could draw, and that is what transpired. But the point I am making here is that how come in such a short space of time, and because he wanted to have some kind of revenge against me, they were able to get a contract so soon. Why? Years they were trying. Their company was, by that time, about three years old. Couldn't get a contract. But because he has some vendetta against me, he saw them as proxies, as, of course, utilities to come and to damage me one way or another. That is how I know that these fellas are not just gangsters, worse than the gangsters that they try to reprimand and try to, of course, malign. Using public office to do that. And I say so out of fear of contradiction. That is what transpired. In fact, I want to tell you that the candidate that we use in Laventille East Morvan, coming under Love, he was part and parcel of that group of persons that went to Garcia in that sting operation that got them $1 million contract. That is how nasty Noel Garcia and they are, utilizing public office for their own agenda and, of course, aggrandizement and at the same time vendetta. Let's not waste time. But let's go, of course, to the video now. Those of you who just joined us, let us, of course, look at it. I'll start. Oh boy, we have to go to the lines. We have to go to the lines. The callers are always first. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor. Boy, we having a problem because I got some people on the system that had no problems. Well, let's go again. All right, let's go again. It's another call. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Oh boy, sometimes this thing that just go mad. Pleasant good night. I'll go one more time. Pleasant good night, welcome.
Good night, Lennox.
All right, are you hearing me?
Yeah, yeah, barely.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Lennox.
Yes, go ahead.
I saw a masquerade, or what should I say? A real travesty that took place in the Senate yesterday with these 9 so-called PNM independent senators voting on that bill.
We just had a brief discussion on that.
Yeah. The Minister of Health to take responsibility for the Insurance Life Fund in order for a child to get the assistance that they needed.
This foreign call, hold on.
Right?
Hold on, foreign call. Go ahead, Mr. Barataria.
Yes, I told her that travesty in the making. Because where were those same senators when the procurement bill came before them and it was watered down by the PNM government into what it is now, that all kind of corruption took place under that procurement legislation now. Where them words?
Yeah,
they stand up for children not getting assistance from the Children Life Fund, and that is what they're going to do to block that. They're so wicked. 9 of them, boy, not even one stand up and say they go vote with the government. We watching all the cookie here, you know, and when you see Christina to leave in 2028, all 9 of them got to go to. Or they got to follow suit.
But of course,
because they really not do.
They know that.
They don't care about the children, Lennox. And Lennox, I want to petition the Prime Minister, right?
Go ahead.
That's a rename the Children Life Fund, the Miracle Children Life Fund, on behalf of the child that died, waiting on that money and wasn't afforded the life that
wonderful suggestion.
The Children Life Fund should be called the Miracle Life Fund now.
Okay.
Right?
Very good, very good, very good. Thanks very much.
For the Life Fund.
Yeah, I am in support. I will endorse that. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Go ahead, of course. United States, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead, my friend. Yes, good night.
Earlier on, man. I don't know what was going on. I don't know.
Repeat that for me, please.
I say I tried to get through earlier on, but it wasn't.
Yeah, because I don't know, this thing that's just it has a sort of life of its own. Sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it just just disruptive.
Anyway,
but go ahead.
Anyway, earlier on I was listening to that guy, what he say was cursing or using.
Yeah. That is Marcel, the parliamentary representative for Laventille West.
Who is that guy?
That is the parliamentary representative for Laventille West. He from Beetham. That's the fellow who take over from Heinz.
That's not like that guy nephew, Lennox?
Yeah. The boy from the Beetham, that's his nephew, yeah.
Man.
That's our boy, what's his name? John.
No.
Yeah, but I think we know who we're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, we know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Andy friend.
Andy, yes, that's right. Andy, yes.
Like Andy friend.
Yeah, that's Andy friend, yes.
Andy
friend.
Beetham.
Yeah. In fact, his name is Anderson. 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 Yeah. Who is Andy's friend? Yes.
But he very sly, you know. I think he would be an M. He's saying
well, I don't believe it. I mean, all is well that ends well. So we achieved what we wanted to achieve. So I will put that behind me for the time being. Yes.
It doesn't matter anyway, you know. Anyway, Lennox.
Yeah.
I like I said in the earlier on. PNM come there just to destroy the UNC. They want to vote for any bill. You know,
yeah. And the UNC, I think, is aware of that. If I am aware of that, then because you see, dog sucking egg, it's very difficult for them to change their course of action. So that is their modus operandi. We know that. We know they're going to criticize everything. They're going to absolve themselves from all the sins of the past. They believe that the propaganda machinery could hoodwink people into believing that somehow they have been transformed. But of course, we have seen that with Manning. Manning says it's a new PNM. This one is saying the same thing, but of course, she's saying as well that they lost the way. So, and then of course, it appears that there is no respect for Penny. So therefore, what is happening? Penny is no, let's say, no Rowley. So she can't exert and she can't assert. And that is where she will have problems. So the PNM has gone through, really.
Yeah, they gone through because they only come there. I don't know why they come back there to feel that anybody will believe them. Believe them again. Only the foolish one of them go think that they
you have the sycophants and those who of course live in an illusion. They will defend a dribble. But of course, the dribble will eventually burst, but them will hold on for the life of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they only talking of the UNC because.
Yeah. Well, that's the focus.
Like for everybody, everybody get whatever they get in.
Yeah.
But the PNM is not like that.
But I'll tell you, all that talk will stop when man start to in single file have to attend court, criminal and civil. Because Jeremy is making joke.
Because I'm telling you, I cannot see how these fellas commit all the crime and get away with it, Just plain and simple.
No, they can't. They can't. I keep saying that. I keep saying that the level of blatancy or blatantness or conspicuousness in the way that they would have managed the affairs of the country, engaging in criminal, well, to use a nice term, misfeasance and malfeasance, and of course misbehavior in public office. The whole question, no government in the world could countenance or even do the level of recusal that cabinet engaged in. A man recusing himself 100 times. In the corporate world, that is insider trading, and always for the family, friends, and so on. And worse yet, the procurement legislation itself, they orchestrated it in such a way that the cabinet is immune from, of course, what you and I, if we have a company and we have, of course, to get some kind of contract from the government, will either be subjected to scrutiny, but they don't want to be scrutinized. And at that level, they have, of course, fitted away billions of dollars, whether it's George Young, brother, in terms of a company that was never known about, and suddenly it becomes an investment company of a financial nature. And the government specifically never went into the biggest bank probably in the Caribbean, talking about Republic Bank, to finance budgetary arrangements, etc., but went to Stuart Young Brothers Bank in order to do that. And he had to borrow from them in order to, of course, satisfy what the government want, and therefore double jeopardizing Trinidad and Tobago, because it's obvious we have to pay more in interest in such a situation where a person have to go and borrow money in order to lend the government, when they could go straight, of course, could have gone straight to the Republic Bank. So we know that is misbehavior in public office, that is corruption. Go ahead.
God knows that you're borrowing your own money.
I tell you, it's mad people we were dealing with. They believe the treasury is theirs.
Think outside the box.
I'm showing you that. Look at Nikwan.
You're borrowing your own money.
Yeah.
Your own money where they take. That's what they can't find. That's how they can't.
That's why they can't find the $3 billion or the $2 billion that they can't find. It's because of those kinds of shenanigans. Yeah.
It's gone in somebody else's bank and you're borrowing the money.
Yeah, but the Privy Council said it in certain terms. Why Imbert was not investigated? I mean, that all of those are what I consider to be indicators.
And the man stood on in Parliament.
Yeah.
The man stood on in Parliament, still to be in jail.
Yeah, but I have a prediction for Imbert. He ain't gonna stay there for long, He can't take on his ego, even though he did wrong. There are some people who are so damn bold-faced. They do wrong, but you can't tell them that they do wrong. Just as Rowley, he is the same. No. He's the same kind of material, yeah.
No, you don't have to tell them they do wrong, You take legal action.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't be able to accept that, because remember, he told us a lie from since immemorial, that they are upright and that they are no thief, and that and that the integrity, and that he will go to court when people don't know the facts. He go to court and all of that kind of nonsense. Yeah, you will see something.
Somebody
yeah.
tells you that.
Yeah.
Look out, it's opposite.
Yeah. All right, partners.
Anytime somebody tells you that.
Yeah, let me go and see. Oh, it's after 10, boy. Let me run that clip. All right, yeah. Bye-bye. People, of course, we have come to the end. But I must run that clip for those of you who were late and you didn't see it. let me start it from the beginning, where of course you have obscenity in its commencement by of course the representative for Laventil West, Marcel, and then of course we went on to show the madness of Gonzalez, and then after that we have a situation where the Attorney General is warning all of them. All of them. It will be interesting. So let's end with that.
And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated?
I'm sure you didn't hear that, so hear it again.
Where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated?
Just in case you just come in.
Where is the 54.9 million going to be allocated?
As serving as a minister, I would not have been given the privilege to visit some and so many of you in so many communities in West Tobago as well as in East Tobago. And that is the reason why I felt a sense of hurt and disappointment that on election night, when I heard that Shamfa lost her seat and Ayana lost her seat.
Isn't that incongruent? I mean, it has no flow. Here it is. He is saying that he was a minister and therefore couldn't visit Ayana and visit, of course, Kojo in Tobago. But when he heard that they lost the seat, he was concerned about that because he couldn't get to see them or he couldn't make time to see them. I would take that as an insult, won't you? When you come, if you have nothing to say, shut up. They tell me that for you didn't come and you so hurt now that they lost the seat. And that is why you so hurt that they lost the seat because you didn't come to check them. Who is that? I'm mad. And I think the cameras went on one or two of the people in the audience. Maybe you should take a look at that and see how they seem to be in a state of daze, flumux, in a state of total and absolute enigma, because they simply want to know what you're talking about. So these fellas have gone mad.
Dr. Eric Williams, as well as in East Tobago.
What? They're laughing.
And that is the reason why I felt a sense of hurt and disappointment that on election night, when I heard that Shamfa lost her seat and Ayana lost her seat. Dr. Eric Williams, many years ago, said that every single member of the PNM is a propagandist of the PNM. And one of the first things I will do as your new chairman is to ensure that the propagandists of the PNM must be deployed on every nook and every cranny of this country, and we will chase them away on social media, and that the gospel of the PNM must be known to every single citizen of this country.
When criminal wrongdoing is alleged, I don't mind you looking at me.
Listen to the Attorney General.
But when you look at the political leader and Prime Minister of the United National Congress, her grandmother, who has served this country for however long, never had one standard raised against her, I will go to war with you. 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 My friends down the road there, you okay? The point is that this is something that needs to be investigated, and it will be investigated with every fiber of my being. I will go to war with you. I will go to war with you. My friends down the road there, I will go to war with you. I will go to war with you. I will go to war with you. My friends down the road. I will go to war with you. 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 My friends down the road there, one standard raised against her. I will go to war with you. 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 My friends down the road there, you okay? The point is that this is something that needs to be investigated, and it will be investigated with every fiber of my being.
So people, of course, there you have it. Of course, we have come to the end. I left the best for last. I know you would have enjoyed that. I like, of course, the fact that, of course, the people who edited that for me, they put in, of course, those persons who the Attorney General would be prepared to go to war with, whether it be Al-Rari, whether it be, of course, former Prime Minister, or Prime Ministers, I should say, both, of course, young, the younger of the two, and had, of course, the least amount of stay in the office of Prime Minister, a standing joke, which, of course, is subjected to legislation now. I know that they are drafting legislation in order to make certain that he doesn't get the benefit of that $1 million because he had the title of Prime Minister. In fact, they are now saying that the legislation should say that you could only get that kind of emolument, that kind of entitlement after being a year. You have to be at least a year in the office. I think that is only fair. Of course, Young will be ranting and raving because he wanted to get what I consider to be more money unmeritoriously. But of course, no, the people are not stupid. But let's let me just take this call. Hello, good night. I'm on air. Yes, okay. All right. So, yes, people, so we have come to the end. A pleasant good night to all and sundry once again. I have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. What's tonight? Wednesday? Oh boy, I was thinking it's Thursday. Boy, I'm now going to say no corridor tomorrow night. So I have to bite my tongue in that regard. Let me just take this final call. Mr. Tagarigua, we are off. We are done. Are now complaining about sleep and sleeplessness, and here it is. You want to get me insomniated or what? Go ahead.
Like that clip, boy.
Yeah?
You like that clip, Jeremy?
Yeah. I like that clip. Yeah. It's nice, eh?
Make you nice. That's what I call you.
Yeah, he pointed at Rowley. He pointed at Short Young. He pointed at Imbert. He pointed at Lymore and several others that they included in that particular clip. We're going to play it, of course, tomorrow on the Ground Report as well. All right, my friend? Yeah. Yeah, that make the night. Yeah, that's why I'll leave it for last. All right, my friend. Yes, indeed. Yes, okay. Okay, people, so once again, let me just finish here. Please have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless, and see you, of course, tomorrow morning on the Ground Report. Andy, Michael, myself, and back here tomorrow night from 8 o'clock. Remember, I say that I may cut the program in half. I may just take 1 hour from 8 to 9. I know people would be a bit upset, but as I said, as I began, that of course the old people have a saying that of course work do dead is man does dead. Yes, indeed, and they always have work there. So I'm not going to I'm not going to fall victim to that situation where man feel they could kill walk, when in fact that is an impossible task. Yes, indeed, of course, and as we started, of course, as we said, we can make it if we try. Let us, of course, end with that, because I think it is crucial. There are a lot of things we'll talk about tomorrow. We have a lot of things to talk about, but of course I have a lot of work to do tomorrow as well. So, people, have a wonderful rest of the night, and God bless. Let me just make sure and put on that the late Black Stalin, as of course he tells us in song.
Serving as a minister, I would not have been given the privilege to visit some and so many of you in so many communities in West Tobago as well as East Tobago. And that is the reason why I felt a sense of hurt and disappointment that on election night, when I heard that Champa lost her seat and Ayana lost her seat. Dr. Eric Williams, many years ago, said that every single member of the PNM is a propagandist of the PNM. And one of the first things I will do as your new chairman is to ensure that the propagandists of the PNM must be deployed on every nook and every cranny of this country. And we will chase them away on social media, and that the gospel of the PNM must be known to every single citizen of this country.
We could make it if we try. Just a little harder. If we just get one more try, I could be much sweeter.
Never had one standard reason I will go to war with you. 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 My friends down the road here. The point is that this is something that needs to be investigated, and it will be investigated with every fiber of my being.